This, I believe, the power of charity. I was in the comfort of my home, lying on the sofa, wearing my coziest pajamas, and watching my favorite TV show. I was trying to live my vacation to the fullest, despite a pandemic. However, after a few days of repeating the same routine, though I had no responsibilities or duties, I felt something was missing. And then I thought, why not do my favorite hobby to gain money? A great idea, I thought that was. But I changed my initial opinion and I felt compelled to use my cooking skills, not for profit, but to make a difference in the lives of many underprivileged families who struggle with the pandemic. Everything around us was closed, and most of the population in my state could not work, which meant that they didn't earn money at all. I had to do something because I believe in the power of charity. Consequently, I convinced myself that the pandemic was a time for benevolence. And that is when La Dolce Vita was born. Firstly, we decided that we could contribute with Padre Arlindo, a local Catholic priest who works with family under constant economic and social emotional struggle, who then became our connection. After the pandemic, the family is living by the beach of Tamandaré and relied on the tourism dependent on goodwill and benevolence. And that became our mission. Adding 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of flour, a pinch of baking powder, and lots of love, all of a sudden, my cozy kitchen became a cake factory. My mother, my sister, and I would wake up at 6 in the morning to complete our daily orders on time. Every day I was tired and wanting to sleep more and more, but I knew that with my commitment, I would help many unfortunates. By the end of the day, I would feel exhausted, but undoubtedly proud. For long periods, we'll be standing in front of a boiling pan, baking our perfect brigadeiros. Or we could be mixing cake batters, dealing with the stress of broken biscuits for the pies. But whenever we delivered our desserts, a feeling of relief and satisfaction would take over our bodies and souls. This project just gave living proof that we don't need sugar to create sweet memories, or even provide an amazing sensation to others. In the end, we baked a total of 120 delectable cakes in a month and a half, raised 8,315 reais, the equivalent to buy 1 ton and 320 kilograms of staple food. But mostly, the best part was to nourish hundreds of families in the crying city of Tamandaré.
Hello, this is my This I Believe essay about being an introvert in the quarantine period. Alright, I'm going to start now. Being an introvert in the quarantine period is great. Ever since that toilet paper shortage of good old 2020, I knew the threat was real, and the world was slowly sliding into chaos. As my family was preparing for the soon-to-come apocalypse, everyone else was too. As we stocked up on supplies, toilet paper was clearly, and most obviously, the first thing to go, as people were brainlessly chasing toilet paper like a dog chasing its tail. People all over the world were in chaos like starving wolves desperately looking for a bite to eat. Ooh boy, those people were indeed in panic, but not me, because I'm an introvert. I'm Anushervon, and this is my story. Among the remaining sane people left in the world, I enjoyed myself to death. Quarantine was a paradise for me for over 2 years, until one day I saw myself brutally forced to leap out of my comfort zone like a dry cat thrown into a pit of water. The moment I was forced to actually, quote, interact like a human being, end quote, and go to school, I knew I was in for a trip, and I did not like the situation one bit. As I slowly positioned myself to look somewhat likable in front of the other Homo sapiens, over a short period of time I noticed myself to grow more and more attached to my school and its community, just like a barnacle on a boat. As I grew more attached to my school, I forgot about my old comfortable lifestyle of not moving at all every single day. Not soon after, I started to fit in with the school crowd. To my unfortunate demise, the pandemic had to start acting up again, just like a smaller sibling who wouldn't be quiet. Could it seriously not have backed off a little? Sheesh. Come on. I guess we have no personal space anymore. Anyways, the pandemic started to skyrocket through the roofs, unlike the money in my wallet, and quarantine had, unfortunately, been taken up by a hobby again by our state. While quarantine has started again, it has given me a chance to brush up on my introversy, which was nice. In case you didn't know, introversy is the art of being an introvert. While this being in the while this quarantine period has been short, I hope to be able to go back into school once more, and being in the nice school of EAR for the short period of time I was there has convinced me to start moving again. Thanks for that, by the way. To conclude, this has been my mixed This I Believe essay. If you liked it, I wouldn't mind if you smashed that like button below. Thanks for listening. Bye.
My heart is racing, and my shirt is damp from my sweat. I'm craving water, but I won't stop until I get that red ball. I take a few steps further, still hiding behind the wall so she won't see me. I lean a little to the front to spy on her. She's sticking out her tongue, also tired of running around the house, and her tail is wagging rapidly. Her red ball is right in front of her, and her eyes are concentrated, looking for me. I run up to her at once, trying to reach the ball, but she gets it before me in one fast movement. I try pulling the ball from her mouth, but I end up falling on the ground due to her strength. I start laughing, and she comes on top of me, licking my entire face. I reach the red ball behind her and scream, "Got it, Maggie!" Memories were flourishing through my head, and I couldn't control the tears running down my face. March 18, 2021. This day will forever be in my memory. Pain and suffering filled the small apartment as we received the unfortunate news. Every single part of my body was shaking, and my heart was beating faster than it ever did. I felt a horrible pain in my chest, as if a hole was being opened. I didn't know what to do. My 6-year-old dog had passed away. After weeks of medicine and treatment, she didn't make it. The day before, I went to bed praying God to end her suffering, and so he did. I couldn't help but wonder why Maggie was taken from us so early. She was the best company anyone could ever have. I don't know a single person who had a chance to know her and didn't love her. However, as Peace Pilgrim once said, the pain and suffering that comes to us has a purpose in our lives. It is trying to teach us something. We should look for its lesson. Days went by, and I started changing some habits. Spending less time on my phone and talking to my parents, watching movies with them. I learned to be grateful to be alive every morning that I wake up. Not everyone has this privilege. I'm being more patient with my brother instead of being mean to him, even though we've always had a good relationship. I slept with my parents to remember how he feels. I learned that I have no control of tomorrow. The next day is uncertain, and we have to make now worth it. Cherish every moment. Embrace feelings and intimacy. Don't apologize for caring too much or let anyone make you feel bad. Tell your parents you love them constantly. It will never be enough to say it. Hug your loved ones. Tell them how you feel about them. Text your grandparents saying you miss them. Log off social media for some time. Call your friends. Play games with your siblings. Take long walks with your dog. Throw their ball until your arm gets tired. Because after all, life doesn't stop. People die and hearts become weak. So with every atom in your body, live right now.
The Importance of Becoming a Sunflower by Gabriela Malafaia Cavalcante. I believe in becoming a sunflower. Yes, you heard it right. I know you're probably wondering, why do I want to become a sunflower? Well, since I was young, I've been fascinated by nature. For me, nothing is more peaceful and incredible than laying in the grass and looking at the sunset while listening to the birds singing, feeling the wind in my hair, smelling the scent of blossoms, and eating many delicious fruits. However, in this beautiful world, the flowers are what I like to admire the most. The sunflower is a type of flower that has always caught my attention. It's fleshy yellow, petals parted, leaves shaved, and everything on it are extraordinary. But my favorite curiosity about the sunflower is that they share the sunlight energy. And yes, they are capable of doing that. On cloudy days, when the sun is completely hidden behind the clouds, the sunflowers turn to each other and divide their energies among themselves. So none of them are withering or looking down. They wonderfully help each other, and that's why becoming a sunflower is so essential. Divide your positive energy among people around you. Share happiness and kindness, so no one withers or loses their petals and their brilliant yellow hue. However, remember that this strength could be different actions depending on the person and situation. It's giving attention to your little sister that always wants to play with you. It's a good morning to the school janitor that frequently is ignored. It's a listen to your grandpa telling you an old story that he seems to always repeat. It's helping someone with visual impairment crossing the street. It's teaching your grandma patiently how to use her cell phone. It's studying with your friend who is failing English class. It's smiling at your uncle when he gives you the last cookie of the package. It's singing your aunt's favorite song, showing her that you didn't forget the lyrics. It's taking care of your maid when she's sick. It's dancing with your best friend. It's thanking your mom. It's hugging your dad. All this signifies giving energy to another sunflower, transferring strength in the same as providing something lacking in another person, necessary for their happiness. Not something material that anyone can buy in a store, but intangible, that just can be obtained by actions. When you become a sunflower, you complete what was missing in someone. Becoming a sunflower means spreading kindness. Becoming a sunflower means making people happy. Becoming a sunflower means becoming a better person.
It seems that all throughout life, we always live wanting something more. However, could I really be considered living? When I was younger, I would spend my days dying to grow up, dying to do something different, dying to be someone different. Why are we so eagerly dying? If I did not value life as it was, my life would never be good enough, no matter what I did, and the feeling of dissatisfaction that imprisoned my heart and mind would never change. And after that, it would only be a matter of time until I was dying, because time went on and I had forgotten to live. I would have never realized it if it weren't for my dad. The best conversations between my dad and I happened during our car trips through the city. We sit back in the sun-warmed seats, enjoying a long, directionless drive through the avenue, with the windows open, ocean breeze hitting our soft cheeks. Sometimes we sit in silence, appreciating the wonders of life, while a playlist of oldies acts as a background noise. Once we do decide to talk, it flows naturally, as if it is part of our chaotic routine. But it is not. These conversations are part of something special, an experience that we need to have in order to continue with our lives in a more peaceful and connected way. There was one Sunday lazy morning near the end of the year that stuck with me for life. During one of our car conversations, I remember saying, "I'm dying to see how this next year will go." And after a while of not being answered, I asked what he was thinking about. "You're always dying for something. Will anything ever be good enough for you?" At the time, I was so shocked to hear such a reaction that I did not think much of it. A few months later, I went back to what he said, and it finally struck me. If you constantly strive for something beyond your own life, you'll never be completely satisfied with what you have. If you do not value yourself and your life, nothing will ever seem good enough, and that feeling will never change. It is easy to be demanding when our society idolizes only looks, fame, and money. However, if you stop to look outside your world, you'll see how good you have it, and feel much more like your life is worthwhile. What are you thinking about now?
The end of the quarter on Friday, the Easter celebration last weekend. How many of you are actually living in the present moment? In life, we cannot afford to be not present. We always have a choice. We can choose to be a victim of our life circumstances or choose to accept and build on what we have right in front of us.
Every kid has once looked up at the stars and wondering how it would be to experience the ultimate adventure, to explore beyond the grounding limits of the blue planet, untouched environments, the thrill of the unknown. As the future becomes the present and age discloses society's efficiencies, that adventurous dream transforms into a gateway to escape. Escape this world, this reality, and the species that seems to be in command. I am one of many diagnosed with lost faith in humanity, a disease that grows stronger with every newsfeed, comment section, or senseless discussion. Symptoms include difficulty in finding air to breathe that won't intoxicate my lungs, and a sense of not belonging. An outsider looking in at all the madness, haunted by the realization that I am part of the insanity. The Pandora box was never closed. No, evil still bursts out, and hope is locked at its bottom. A single virus eroded our freedoms overnight, and with it our presumption that we possess the inalienable right to choose. Even so, humans are so submerged in their own selfishness that most don't even know the name of their neighbors, turning against each other at the slightest hint of inconvenience. A secret need to belittle others to feel better about ourselves. We are forced to bump like bumper cars, but never look up from our phones. There is a collective narcissism so intractable that it's infiltrating every facet of life. And so, my typical asocial personality grows ever more antisocial. What if aliens do exist as an endless consciousness, and for entertainment they all watch a TV show called Earth? There are thousands of different storylines, but the moral isn't clear, and the writing has gone downhill in the last year. On the episodes, the rain always seems to hit hardest on those who deserve the sun. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty." But doesn't it feel like the ocean is gone, replaced by a large mass of dark, viscous liquid? Humans are animals, and society is a thin veil designed to hide our most basic nature. My antagonism towards humanity increases by the second. Some have tried to come up with complicated narratives of why I shouldn't feel this way. But it's not the complex searches for the meaning of life that prove to be helpful. We are, after all, simplistic creatures, and looking for the simple details is what alleviates my symptoms. I like that humans annually celebrate somebody's existence. I like that we give each other rocks and plants as gifts. Jewelry is just a rock with metal around it, and flowers are just pretty plants. I like that we read other people's thoughts. We go to a store to buy a collection of papers with words on them that somebody else in the universe wrote. I like that we move around to sequences of sound and make happy noises to show other people that we think they're funny. I like that we keep little boxes in front of our houses in case somebody wants to deliver a message, and how excited we get to open a letter that is not a bill. I like that we adopt other species into our families. Because maybe there are glimmering silver spots in that black liquid mass, where light has shone through and where light never vanished in the first place. Diamond fragments that form naturally in the oil. Because maybe everyone is a hero if painted in the proper light, and the show is a multicolored, though it acts so black and white. Because if you look from another angle, we are all connected, and we all share carbon, the backbone of life. Because maybe hope was the first to leave the box.
I believe in the idea of inventing new technologies. New technologies from multiple domains have always made me excited about the future, giving me the willingness to create my own inventions. I perceive that creating new and impactful innovations breeds optimism for how much better reality could be. As Arthur C. Clarke once stated, sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's really true. If we go back 300 years, the devices and habits we take for granted today are the same ones that will probably force us to be burned at the stake. Being able to fly, see over long distances, communicate with a vast network of strangers at any given time, and access all the world's information instantly from almost anywhere on Earth are all abilities that would be considered magic in the past times. In fact, I think it actually exceeds that, because there are many technologies that we take for granted today that weren't even imagined in the realm of magic. The creation and advancement of new technologies produce an intrinsic value to society, cultivating even more crazy inventions. If we can continue to advance the world's knowledge and technology, we can create the tools that will expand human consciousness, scope, and scale, making us more enlightened. That's really the single way forward. We live in a society where there is a lot of injustice, where we don't all start from the same place. That's a problem that becomes even more ambiguous once we understand that those disadvantages doesn't always look the same for everyone. As a result of this complexity, the ultimate solution to making a more just system is foggy and hard to comprehend. It seems impractical likewise that individuals should address this puzzle due to its gigantic magnitude. However, one of the best ways to overcome physical constraints is building innovative tools and showing them to people. The art of great craftsmanship prevents people from growing comfortable with their status quo. It saves people from creating frustration and resentfulness in the long term. Craftsmanship requires the eternal child curiosity that exists in each one of us. When you grow up, you often get told that the world is the way it is, and you've just got to live your life inside the world, try not to pass into the walls too much. Try to get a good family, have a nice life, have fun, save a little money. But that's a very confined life. It can be much more broader once you understand and realize that everything you call life was created by individuals who are no more intelligent than you. That gives a sense that you can change it, influence it, you can mold it, and build your own tools that other people can use. The minute I understood that if I pushed something in, something else would pop out on the other side, it eventually changed the way I behaved in the world.
Alright, once we're inside the store, you are going to talk to the cashier and subdue them quietly. That's all. I'll take care of the rest. Now, I could go on with a serious narrative that introduces my very expert level rationale, but you don't really want to hear that, or what I'm about to say if we're being honest. So if you're still here, I guess you had no other choice. Not being able to do whatever you want must suck. Too bad you're not in my position right now. While people are searching for whatever philosophy in life they most believe in, I prefer to make this a little more entertaining for the both of us. With this, I'll introduce the topic again. The Tooth Fairy is real. Before any assumptions are made, I don't see why someone would say the Tooth Fairy isn't real. Apart from Santa Claus, who is definitely fake, I still think the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy live around us, and I'm tired of pretending they don't. I indeed used to believe in the old and fat, white-bearded man who sits around watching us sleep, breathe, take baths, and perform tasks throughout our life. But if we use just a little bit of common sense, there's no way a human can keep up with that. To make matters worse, he has literal slaves working for him. The only good thing is that they get to eat candy a lot. If he was really real, the UN would have definitely sent forces to the North Pole by now. Having wings and being small already makes people hesitant that the Tooth Fairy exists. But guess what is small, has wings, can carry way more than 2 times their weight, and are able to get inside human homes? Insects, already busting one of the false claims people make. Also, who else would be dumb enough to break and enter, steal a tooth, and in turn give the individual $1? I can't think of anyone. That's because there simply isn't. Tooth Fairy is one and only, smooth-brained enough to not even give us enough money for a hand of bananas. Now to our friend who is bold enough to give a sugar, cow milk, and chocolate liquor blend to all the kids on the Christian holiday representing the resurrection of Jesus. Easter Bunny, which hides the eggs worse every year, cannot be fake, because no human would hide all the eggs and not be seen by me. I'm impressed that you have stuck through to the end, even if you still don't believe in bugs, a fairy, or a redneck misplaced to the north. There is one vital thing to take away from my scientifically correct argument. Despite all the essential knowledge you have gained from me, one thing I did not provide you with is a mind-blowing, over-the-top philosophy. That's because this whole narrative is here to tell you that there is no need for everyone to have that. As long as you do what you feel like doing, you already are on the road to following my belief.